So, I mean, that leads right into that, Ethan. We'll talk about Malaki. I mean, I've mentioned it so many times. Many Spurs fans know, led all rookies in scoring in February with 16 points. This was the guy who was the 20th pick of the draft. He was sitting at the top of Jay Billis's top prospects available for basically, almost from pick 12 to 20. And so, like I said, I've mentioned that a lot. 10.2 points, 2.7 boards, and 1.9 assists. But of course, the big thing, once again, being leading all rookies in scoring in February at 16 points per game, when he was kind of leading the offense as well, taking the ball up the court a lot. When I believe, I don't know if that was during Trey's injury or if Blake, it might have been also that, because I know he was doing that off the bench, so it might have just been like Blake in the G League too, but played 66 games and improved tremendously throughout the season, eerily similar to the way that he improved during his freshman season at Ohio State.
Yeah, huge parallel there. He really struggled in the G League, not the G League, the Summer League. I don't know if you remember that far back.
Yeah, no, but we thought Blake was the most NBA ready. I'm pretty sure I said that.
Probably, we probably both did, and that's a sign of
funny how that
recency,
works.
Sure.
Hey,
yeah.
me and Devin were, got some L's.
Yep.
Him with Victor, me with. Hey,
Yeah.
But like I said, I still believe in Blake because of what we were talking about. Anyways.
Yes, obviously, and yeah, but I've never seen him and Jeremy Sohan, what they were both able to do from game 1 to game 82, as far as completely expanding their games, was astounding. I mean, just to speak about Malaki for now, when he got here, like, he basically had one thing. That was pump fake at the 3-point line, couple dribbles inside, and then a really flat shot that looked good. He was open, but it would hit the back iron, or it would hit the front rim. And we both were like, he's getting good shots. He just can't make them. And he's not much of a playmaker, and he loses the ball sometimes. But we were like, but he's got good measurables. Like, he'll come around. But by the end of the year, it was like, give Malaki the ball and get out of the way, or set him a screen and let him come off that screen and let him wow you, because he can get to his spots with a lot of ease, and he's extremely skilled, especially in the in-between game. And he did something tweaked with his shot where it started falling way more.
He got more arc on it.
Yes.
And that's the other thing, man, when we talk about the shooting stuff, not to get into that, but he's another example that gives me confidence in the Spurs shooting. And obviously he was a good shooter coming in, but we're talking about how the shot was flat and it wasn't dropping. And if you watch this season, you know exactly what we're talking about. What's up, guys? You'll probably see the cut there. That's just because we had some technical difficulties. But getting back to Malaki's shooting, like I was saying, if you were a Spurs fan and you watched this season, you saw the shot go from flat. He was taking the same shots, the whole time. He was able to get to his spots. That was never the issue. But you saw the shot be flat, and like you said, there was a tweak where he got more arc under it, and it started falling like butter. That's what it felt like. And that's one of the other things that gives me confidence in the Spurs shooting staff in the absence of Chip England.
Yeah, and that shot, the smoothness, the butterness, as you described it, it translated to his 3-point range as well, because he was kind of struggling as a spot-up shooter because of that flatness. And, as soon as that mid-range jumper started falling, it was like, okay, I forgot I'm wet from 3. So it just, became much more consistent. And then coming off the bench is that 6-man role. He really embraced being able to take the ball up the floor, especially when we were without a backup point guard, and when he was playing alongside Devontae Graham, who's more of a shot chucker, less of a playmaker. I think he showed lots of glimpses of being able to facilitate. Not quite at a Manu Ginobili role necessarily, but kind of in a Jordan Clarkson where he comes off screens and he's looking for his shot, but if the opportunity presents itself, he can create a play from there by drawing a double team or taking it to the paint, kicking it out. He's very capable in those situations. To me, the number one improvement he could make is just getting stronger, because being able to finish aggressively at the rim. He's got a lot of finesse shots.
I agree.
Hook shots, getting under his arm, English off the glass. But if he can really finish with strength amongst the towers, that would open up the rest of his game.
Yeah, I would just say defensively too. Not that he's like, he's not bad. He's coming with a solid base. He's not like a world beater either. But I guess where I was wowed offensively, I wasn't, and he may just not be that player too. But just when you're just to give something else for the people of what he could improve on, I would just throw in his defense as well. But I think really, putting on muscle is going to help with that too.
Yeah.
So I mean, really that's kind of the key there, which is the same thing with Devin. So similar.
Really, kind of eerily. I mean,
Yeah.
Malaki came in with a different base, but they're
He's
kind
more
of
of a combo guard where Devin can play the three, but yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
And I'm glad you touched on his playmaking. We mentioned this in the last position breakdown as well, and I just have to mention it here. There could be a possibility that maybe he ends up playing point guard. And I'm sure that just because, I think a lot of that depends on what happens with the rest of the roster. If there are certain
Mhm.
moves that are made, maybe none of that happens. And honestly, I think probably the most likely scenario is it's him and Devin here. But, if he really explodes, maybe they have to move him there to give him some PT. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I'm just the fact that he's another Spurs first round draft pick in the 20s that was a steal.
absolutely, and very versatile.